Joining the Recording Academy as a voting member, Miss Samantha Mogwe.
Oh my goodness, you just added that to my CV.
Yes.
It's so surreal.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? All right, so this new chapter sees you not just being a powerful artist, but also a cultural ambassador, shaping global music from the heart of Africa, which is BW.
Dub the 267.
First of all, congratulations,
Thank
my
you,
love.
guys. I'm so overwhelmed in a good way. In a good way.
And as it should be, Samantha. I think you've worked. The song we've just listened to was the first one that exposed you to us in the music industry.
Yeah.
And even to date, this song is a golden. Okay.
Can I tell you something?
Okay.
It's so weird because I'm always telling people this song is so depressing. Guys, go manyalong. And you know, at first, it really bothered me.
Can I just jump in? Somebody just said you must go and sing at our wedding just today.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And it bothered me, Vincent. But then, I just decided, you know what? It's not up to me. This song clearly means something to, people who have appreciated it. So, the way in which you receive it is totally up to you. So, yeah.
I think music has a thing of being a connector.
Yeah.
Even if you do not necessarily or are not necessarily listening to the hurt that the music brings or the music composer themselves had written it in, you then find a way to make it memorable to you.
Definitely.
And I think that's something that you've been able to achieve very well through your music. I was driving back from Boxford's 2 days ago, and of course I was jamming to your music because I love you. And I thought,
leave me speechless.
But the aim is always to please. The aim is always to please. Let's jump into it, right?
Yeah.
How did you find out you were being inducted into the Recording Academy as a voting member? And before maybe you answer that, I didn't mention that in studio today we also have Raymond, who has been an absent member of this team. Samantha,
Raymond,
I travel a lot.
Oh, so that's the excuse. That's
but
the
I'm
excuse.
Always online.
Okay.
I'm always present.
Okay.
So let's jump back to you, Samantha. How did you find out that you were being inducted as a voting member?
Via email, guys. Via email. It was so crazy because I actually found out last week, but I had to sit with it a little bit because it was so surreal. I remember when I screamed. Had the scroom. I couldn't believe it. And then I had somebody else also send me an email because they also got an email that I had, made it through, and it was so surreal. And for like a bit, and I was just like, oh my goodness. I was like, what is going on? What is going on? So I've sat with this news for a moment just so that I can really, really, really absorb what it means.
And I know you are very spiritual and you turn to God for a lot of things. And you take your time, honestly, with announcing things. You say somebody then emailed you to say you've made it through. Did you actually apply for this thing?
So it's a whole process. First of all, for you to be vetted in, somebody has to vouch for you. How it's in hell. For you to even get the application, you have to be somebody has to vouch for you and say, listen, this person is amazing because of A, B, C, and D. Can you send this person a chance to be able to apply? So once you get vetted in, you get an email to say, okay, apply. And then you apply, you send in CV, basically oloda CV, oloda so that's what I did. And it was so strange because when I applied, I tell you, I was having the worst week, the worst. My laptop died, when things are just going wrong. And it was the final day to be able to send in those applications. And I was just like, what am I gonna do? phone, Google Drive, save it, clouding. It really, really helps. I spent such a long time also sending in that application because I was using my phone. Certain things were not working, but I was like, Mudimo, you didn't bring me this far. Like,
Just
honestly, you didn't
minute.
bring me this far. And weird enough, it was just an application. It wasn't a yes. It was just an application. So when I finally sent in the application at 5 a.m, I was like, okay, it's up to you, God. I've done what I can. And then I forgot about the applications because I think the applications, I sent in an application in March or February, March, around that time at the beginning of the year. So this whole time, it's a very, very gruesome vetting of, they decide if you go in and or do not, get accepted. And it's international, by the way. So they've got a lot of people that are probably vying to go in. So,
wow.
So yeah, I forgot about it. But funny enough, last week, Monday, I was thinking about it and I said a prayer. I was like, Lord, it better be a yes. That's what I said to God. I was like, it better be a yes. And last week, is it Friday? Yeah, the yes came.
Congratulations again, Sammy. We will continue with more of this conversation. I think I'm a bit starstruck. I spent a lot of time with you. Like, you and I talk all the time. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm being so... It's like you're going to the Grammys. All right, voting member of the Recording Academy. The Grammys, honey. Yo. Oh, baby. Let's jump into it. So you and Mpo, right, have received this honor. What does it say about Botswana's presence in the global music space?
Look, it's a big deal, guys. It's a big deal because what it does is it affirms that you have been working and people are seeing the work that you've been putting in. I think for me, that's literally one of the biggest things. Credibility, that people can trust Gore Botswana can be at a global level. So I think that's what it speaks of in terms of Botswana and what we can offer. I was having a conversation with somebody else and I said, it's such a beautiful opportunity because it's also time for us to show that, a lot of the times, a lot of people assume, first of all, Africa is one big country, and they also assume that culturally, sonically, in terms of, our food and values, it's all one idea, and it's not. And I think this is now the time for us to be able to show people that Africa does not just mean West Africa. I love West African culture and their music. It doesn't just mean South Africa as well. I love their culture and their music. But, the whole of Africa has something beautiful to offer in terms of their story and their culture. We are not, what's the word I'm looking for? You cannot paint us culturally with one paintbrush. We are very diverse. So, yeah.
You're speaking about representing Botswana in its essence, right? What do you see this role doing for you as a person who's always advocated for women? What does this new position allow you to do in that regard for advocating for women? So, right now, you've got a project that's ongoing that is
for women,
that is solely based in the development of female vocalists in our country. So what does this role then allow you to do in that regard?
You know what? Interesting enough, it's interesting that you speak of that project Tune Into Empowerment because it really correlates with what this honor does. I was looking at some of the things that they said would mean that we can do as voting members. So being a voting member means you can vote for who gets nominated for a Grammy, first of all, and you can also vote for the winners, if I'm not mistaken. But they do so much more. It's advocacy work, it's training in terms of music business awareness, it's being able to have a foot in the collaborative space, because it's not just for singer-songwriters, by the way. A lot of a lot of other people who are part of the value chain of the music business are voting members of the Recording Academy. So you've got your producers, you've got a whole lot of other people who fall in the musical value chain. So I think it makes sense for this to happen now, because my role in terms of starting that project was for that, for Botswana women who need to know the ins and outs of the music business, for them to be able to, know the value that they can get out of it and also protect themselves. And yet these are the same values that I have in this project that seem to be matching with what it means to be part of the voting in the Recording Academy. So, I mean, if it's not fate, what do you call it?
Absolutely.
What do you call it?
Absolutely. How long do you stay in this position for?
There is, as far as I know, it's not like recycling. I'm inside. I'm inside. Mpo is inside. Because somebody else asked me, they were like, does it mean, because Mpo is part of the cohort from last year's induction, but she's also still part of, so it's ongoing.
So that's what I wanted to know, because a lot of us didn't understand
what it means.
This year, Samantha has been inducted. Does that then mean
No. And I think another beautiful thing, like even conversations that I've had with Mpo are just like, okay, now from Botswana, 4, 5. We need to really use this position and this platform to also advocate and speak for other creatives from Botswana, because we've got so much to offer,
Samantha, does this recognition, has it done anything to now your creative process? Because I know it's just been a week. But you sort of, your mind sort of shifts, because now you are being put on a global stage where you can't be doing things small anymore.
I was having a conversation with this other friend of mine who was like, if you want to grow, the best way is to literally swim with the big boys. That is the best way to grow. And I think this is exactly what it's going to be, swimming with the big boys. I've always been intentional in terms of the music I put out and my craft, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. That's the honest truth. But right now it means I have to scale it up a notch. I literally need to scale it up a notch. I need to use this as a platform to, source those collaborations that are going to push us globally. Now I think, guys, I'm part of the voting. I vote in the Recording Academy. So we get that as a way to push.
Absolutely. Samantha, I don't know how much I can say this. I'm really proud of you. I think you and Paul are really going to make big waves for our country. But we continue with our conversation right after this. But you can also send in your comments, suggestions, questions to +267 3911 066. The one moment or one song that you and I can share a moment over. So it's like
good moment.
Absolutely. If I'm gonna have you in studio, we're gonna play the song. We're gonna play the song. This is Samantha Mogwe and Sasa Klaas, and his soul continue resting in eternal peace with a song called You. And we were just reminiscing over some shared moments that we've had over the past couple of years when the song had played, when we were both in the same space. She remembered a time when she was expecting and we were shooting. Can't what happened to that thing?
Don't even.
So we were shooting something.
And then 2020.
It was in winter. In the depth of
2020.
And so they had to sing their songs a cappella at the time.
And
Sasa forgot her own lyrics. So I was busy there behind the camera singing the lyrics back to her.
I forgot my words. I'm like, yeah, you forgot your words. We know your words.
What a beautiful time. Yeah. Samantha, we're going back to our conversation about this now big recognition you've gotten from the Recording Academy, where you've now been inducted as a voting member. For those of you who didn't know, our girl is a voting member at the Grammys. Recording Academy, that thing.
Okay, we'll say the Grammys.
A few more questions. Have you had a chance to interact with other inductees and musical professionals?
Yes and no. Like I said, it's also new. I'm in this one group where a couple of us are in there, and it's myself, Mpo, and some inductees from South Africa. I'm also, these guys are very specific about how you post, and they're specific about hashtags. And the reason they're specific with hashtags is so that voting members can find each other on social media. So I've had a couple of inboxes coming in, and it's getting really hectic. Okay, let me just figure out what all this means first. So there have been a couple of voting members who've reached
big names, Samantha.
Look, Vincent, this is all new. It's new, but yes, I've had some inboxes, some DMs.
Samantha, Samantha, just tell us.
I can't say too much because it's all new.
And some of them also haven't announced that they're a part of it.
Well, some of them aren't new. Some, like the one person I was talking to, I think was inducted 2 years ago. So that's why I said, even when you announce, they're very specific about how, the way in which you caption your announcement, because they don't want things to be lost in translation, and also the hashtag so that inductees can find each other on social media. And yes.
Listen, for young Botswana now listening at home, what advice would you give them about breaking into international spaces?
I think working intentionally with purpose. I think I said this to you yesterday in one of our voice notes, Vincent. And I said, I think sometimes you can get so lost in the industry that you are trying to make as much noise as you can, that you miss out on the back end of the work that goes into it. And this is why it's so important to learn the music business of things. You learn what it takes to get into certain spaces. You learn, what type of language to use when you get into certain spaces, because sometimes getting into those spaces isn't about how much noise you're making. It's just how you position yourself and how you sell what it is that you've been doing. So it's possible. It's refining that elevator pitch. Yes, there's elevator pitches that happen also in the music business. So refine, position yourself in spaces that will align and work for what it is that you're working towards. That's it.
I know you just said this is relatively new for you, but I think there are people listening, and we as a country sort of come together a lot to sort of support each other and give kudos to each other when working in big projects such as this. How can the public support you in this chapter?
I think the best way of supporting is staying glued to the stuff I share on social media. I will definitely make sure that when I share, and it has to do with this particular project, I will say, guys, can we rally? Can we do something about this? So I think it's just, finding, the time to engage with me on social media and making sure that you're following what it is that I'm doing. Off air, we did say that the Grammys are coming up in February.
So
it's going to be a while, but
it's
the
also
Recording Academy's already sent their calendar for up till next April. They've sent their calendar. So that is how prepared they are. And it might seem like a while, but it's not really a while. It's not really. You do realize we're in the final half of the year.
That's true.
So time will fly. I just need to prepare myself. The American visas change, so I need to make sure that I am prepared ahead of time. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a bit surreal. I sit here, and I think a lot of us are very proud to see some of the biggest voices we have in the country sort of. And it's funny because you guys actually have a song together. Yeah. So
and we're actually people's. By the way, tomorrow's Mpo's birthday. If you didn't know, now you know.
Now we
Tomorrow's
know.
her birthday, so y'all better call.
But it sort of opens our eyes to say that the world is watching. We've seen it Kabulesego Chombo, we've seen it Kabulitsile Tebogo. We're seeing it now in the music space with Mphosi Bina, with Samantha Mogwe. Lastly, what is your message to young African women navigating careers such as this, where we know it's still, the music industry is very male dominated.
Yes.
Men are still getting bigger opportunities than women in this space. But as a black woman, as an African woman, as a Motswana, blue, black, and white, what is your message to women really navigating the space?
You know, it's interesting that you say that because UNESCO did a study, I think it's in 2022, where they were trying to look at women across the globe in the musical space, and they realized that only 30% of women globally make up some sort of value chain within the music business industry. So whether it's your producers, whether it's your managers, etc., 30% globally. So now if you bring that down to Botswana, clearly we've got a lot of work to do. And what often happens is there's a lot of exploitation. There's a lot of women who don't know their rights. They know nothing about body copyright law. They know nothing about the business aspect of things and how to use this thing to create a sustainable income. And I just want to say to that young Motswana woman who is at home wanting to get into this, get as much information as you can, especially since we've got information at the tip of our fingers. So when you are, you know, on Facebook and on Instagram and on Google or whatever it is, take that opportunity and time to follow people who share nuggets of wisdom in terms of how to navigate in this space. Read contracts, you know, not everything that glitters is gold. Read contracts. Make sure that you're not selling a kidney in the process of, you know, trying to make it, because sometimes, unfortunately, a lot of people are taken advantage of, and it takes a while for you to get out of that situation. So capacity building, get all the knowledge that you can, because pairing that with your creativity, I'm telling you, it is dynamite, and it's literally the only thing that'll keep us going and keep us growing.
All right. Lastly, and I said lastly the last time, but lastly, tell us about Tune Into Empowerment, to what's happening now. You've got at least 56
my
seconds.
Baby.
Yeah.
Oh, Tune Into Empowerment is my baby. And it's just on the backdrop of that women, you know, are they are underserviced, they are a minority, they have very little wiggle room in terms of the music business, but they're so talented and they get taken advantage of. So what we're doing is we are doing capacity building through and through. We had auditions a few weeks ago. Now we're going into our workshopping phase, where we've got 30 women coming in for workshoppings. We've been able to score workshopping deals with some people from California, from South Africa, from Botswana. It's music business 101 compressed. So from your branding to your mental health and awareness, to your wealth, to PR package development, to the actual art. And then we're going to break it down into the final 10 who are going to go. We're going to get them great producers to record them, and then finally final showcase. So it's a whole process of building this woman who's able to be empowered and know how to navigate the space. So that's my baby.
Samantha, we are really proud of you. And I think keep flying blue, black, and white very high. You've been given a chance, especially by God, to use your voice, to use your talent, to use your likeness as a musician in this country, to propel this country forward. And from your soulful melodies to now shaping sounds of the future, Samantha Mogwe, you continue to make us proud. Thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations again on becoming Botswana's musical envoy to the world.
Thank you so much.